Okay, so we've got the lid in here at the moment because it had a problem with the rear pony truck axle box bearing. You can see the truck is out from under the loco at the moment, and we've got the truck axle here. What happened was that the axle box underkeep that carries the oil pad loosened, dropped away, so there was no lubrication, so the axle ran very hot for a short while. So one of the things we've got to do is that the axle journal in here needs to be remachined. So this wheel set will be going into the wheel lathe there shortly, once the present job that's in there is finished. Yeah, you can see the axle journal here that's run hot. It's obviously discoloured black, but also what should be a nice smooth finish is quite rough, a bit like a ploughed field. So in the lathe, it'll only take a small skim cut to restore that to the proper surface finish again. So actually remachining it won't take very long, but obviously dismantling the loco to get the truck out is quite a large job. Takes a couple of days. As I said, we've got the lid's truck completely dismantled and all the parts are here. This is the underkeep of the axle box. This is the one that failed. You can see there's an oiler pad in here, and that's what lubricates that journal and bearing normally. The one that was in there when the loco actually failed was burnt away, but this is a replacement one. You can see it's got lots of tails that hang in the oil in the keep there, and then the oil wicks up and it's rubbed onto the bearing journal in this area here. And as long as this is in contact with the journal, then it's being supplied with oil and will run nicely. But as I say, there was a problem with the locking arrangement for this keep, and it allowed the pad to drop away off the axle, and therefore the lubrication was lost and it overheated and failed. So we've got a group of volunteers who are working quite hard on restoring the Kerr Stewart diesel locomotive. These wheel sets have been refurbished. The paid staff in the works here have remachined the tyres. As you can see, they're all to the right profile now because they were quite heavily worn. And the axle boxes have been refurbished, new felt seals and so on. We've got new chains have arrived, new drive chains which drive the loco via these sprockets here from the gearbox. They've luckily that type was still available, so we've been able to source those. Okay, this is one of the final drive gearboxes from the Carnarvon Castle diesel loco. We've had to strip this down at the moment to take out a part which we're sending off to a specialist gearbox rebuilder they are rebuilding one of the other gearboxes that has had a problem, and that's lost a part, and rather than trying to redesign that part, we've taken that part off this gearbox and sent it away to them, so that they can copy it to repair that gearbox. Obviously the top of the gearbox is off at the moment, it's covered up over here, but it allows you to see in. You can see the big driving gear, which actually drives the wheels. That's driven by the gears higher up in the top of the gearbox. And that in turn has been driven by the prop shaft from the engine's transmission. You can see the bottom of the gearbox is full of oil, and that is splashed up by this wheel with these pieces on. Throws oil up around in the gearbox, and then higher up the gearbox there are some trays like this that collect the oil and then channel it to parts of the gearbox that need the oil. So effectively the whole gearbox, the gears higher up, are lubricated by splashing. Okay, so we've just put the Earl of Merioneth back into traffic for the summer season, which is very useful. It's good to have 3 fairlies available to run the FR train service. We've done quite a lot of work on the power bogies. It's had new tyres, a lot of parts remachined and generally overhauled, so the power bogies are in good order. The upper part of the loco is it's got a remaining boiler ticket until early next year now, and that's when we'll run the loco to. But after that, it will be withdrawn from traffic to be replaced eventually by the new James Spooner loco. The boiler in the Earl is really approaching the end of its economic life. You can always keep repairing them, however it's getting to the point where the cost of repairs is becoming excessive, and we need to have a boiler that's reliable. So, and as well as that, on the Earl of Merioneth, the tanks are in poor condition. They've got some splits and leaks which have been temporarily repaired and should last this season. But otherwise, it's in a poor condition. Similarly with the smoke boxes, they're in not particularly good order. They'll last the rest of the year. But otherwise, it would need a very big overhaul, and in fact renewal of a lot of material to make it good, which is why we've basically come up with the plan to build a new loco, which means that the Earl as it is can be put to one side. Effectively, it can become a museum exhibit. We've got the 2 old bogies that it can sit on, so it'll be a complete loco, and there should be no need to rob any parts off it. So it'll be a complete loco, somewhat from the 1970s, although modified in the 1990s. And I say we'll put that to one side, so potentially sometime in the future it could be restored to traffic.
Like this then. There's a lot of stuff going out in the tube. There's a lot of This is the best bit of the day, mate.
Nah, polishing your brass is the best.
Get the back wagon. Yeah. Yeah.